Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Shalom. I'm David Mencer, Israeli government spokesman. A quick update from me and then to your questions on this Tuesday, the 23rd of July, day 291 of the October 7th war. To start with, the Prime Minister in the US, as befits the importance of the issue, the Prime Minister's delegation first meeting in the US was with families of the hostages who have accompanied him, as well as hostage families in the US. The Prime Minister again reiterated that the government is determined to return them all. The Prime Minister said that it's true that the conditions for returning them are becoming ripe. No one should be in any doubt that this is a result of the strong pressure on Hamas. Our dismantling of Hamas will only increase that pace. Accompanying the Prime Minister in the US are soldiers who fought the Hamas terror army of invasion on October 7th, as well as soldiers who have fought in Gaza together with bereaved families who have lost their precious sons in the fighting in Gaza and the Western Negev. The government's objective is to bring our hostages and their plight directly to the American people and their elected representatives. We need to garner their support to bring them home, the living and the deceased. The Prime Minister said that he's doing everything in his power to combine the necessary humanitarian objective and the imperative to return the hostages and at the same time preserve the existence of the State of Israel. The Prime Minister has made a comprehensive statement which is available on his Twitter feed, his website, so I won't repeat all of the details here. In terms of an operational update, I want to point you to the IDF Telegram feed showing their updates on success fighting Hamas in Judea and Samaria and the elimination of terrorists there as well as in Gaza. To our north now, the north of Israel, we've had 6,800 rockets fired at our people from Hezbollah since the October 8th. 30 of our people killed, 100,000 of our people displaced, close to 200,000 dunams of land burnt, where a third of Israel's agricultural land is located. Olive oil, mangoes, peaches, nectarines, bananas, citrus, avocados, apples, grapes, wine grapes, plums, harvests and crops massively disrupted. Nature reserves, national parks, forests and open spaces burnt, not to mention our young people, families and children in temporary school placements. All of this is not sustainable. Lebanon continues to host Hezbollah terrorists under the guidance of Iran. One way or another, this situation will be resolved. No one should be surprised. The violation of UN Security Council resolutions 1559 and 1701 will be corrected. Now an update from COGAT and their work coordinating aid into Gaza. 829,000 tons, more than 829,000 tons of aid have gone in. More than enough food for everyone in Gaza, 80% more than what was sent in before this war. On vaccines in Gaza, more than 95% of the Gazan population are vaccinated against polio. Since the start of the war, over 500,000 vials of vaccine have entered Gaza, enough to vaccinate over 2 million people. Israel is working with international organizations to coordinate the entry of more vaccines into Gaza. So that's the end of our briefing. Today I will now take your questions, which you should put in the chat, together with your news outlet. Okay, first question here is from Jim Williams at Zenga. I apologize. Okay. Question here from Jim Williams. I apologize for not being familiar with your media process when the Prime Minister is traveling. However, will your office be providing an advance copy of the Prime Minister's address to the joint session of Congress? Additionally, will there be readouts available after each of the Prime Minister's meetings in Washington, or should we direct those inquiries to Matt Miller at the State Department and Corinne Jean-Pierre at the White House? Thank you for that question, Jim. There won't be a copy of the Prime Minister's speech ahead of him delivering it to Congress. We'll have the speech just after to be able to share it with you after delivering it to Congress. In terms of his itinerary, details of his itinerary are coming out all the time when we're updating the details all the time. Obviously, with the President Biden having COVID, the itinerary has been disrupted somewhat, but we will release details when we have it. In terms of the readouts from the meetings, yes, by all means, do get the US readouts, and we'll also release our own readouts of those meetings after they have happened. Next question is from David Clement at the News Forum. Can the Prime Minister give any details regarding the Canadian who was killed threatening the police with a knife? Did he enter the country with a tourist visa? And has the Israeli government spoken to their counterparts in Ottawa to discuss how the individual was radicalized? Thank you for that question, David. The IDF on their Twitter feed has released, and on their Telegram feed has released some of the details of that Canadian national. My understanding is that he did come into the country on a tourist visa. As for interactions with the government in Ottawa, I'm sure they have happened, but I don't have any details to share with you right now. As in terms of his radicalization, I haven't got any details of that right now, and no doubt they'll be coming out shortly. Your second question, David Clement from the News Forum, is Chinese state media has reported that Fatah and Hamas have signed a new agreement. Does the Prime Minister's office have a response? Does that change anything regarding the war against Hamas and a potential ceasefire deal? Thank you for that question, David. We have, of course, seen the announcement about that deal from China. I haven't got anything more to share with you at this present time. We know that Hamas is a genocidal terrorist organization, and any idea that we will have this will be seen as the legitimate government of the Palestinian people with Hamas in its leadership is obscene. We've been very, very clear that the war aims are clear, that it is the destruction of Hamas's governmental and military capabilities. There is no sense whatsoever that Israel will interact with any sort of government with Hamas in its leadership. Next, for a question from Fred Ager. Israel has sent, your question, Fred, is Israel has sent armed Shin Bet agents to Paris to protect the Olympic team following death threats. The athletes are preparing for potential disruption. French authorities have committed to round-the-clock security to ensure Israel's athletes' safety during the Games. Is Israel's government confident that France's law enforcement and Shin Bet agents will provide optimum security to Israel's athletes without impairing their ability to perform and come back with medals? Go Israel. Thank you for that question, Fred. Yes, indeed, we are working with the Olympic authorities and with the French authorities together with our security service to ensure that our athletes and the entire Israel team are protected and are safe from any potential disruption or, God forbid, terrorist activities or any threats towards them. And we look forward to a peaceful Games. Ultimately, we all look forward to a peaceful Games. Hannah Julian from the Jewish Press, the next question. Are there any specific data on how many crops in the north have been destroyed, and where can we access that? Thank you for that question, Hannah. I can share with you some of that information, and I'll be able to do so after this briefing. Okay, that is the last question that we have here today. We'll keep updating you as to other developments. In the meantime, there'll be another briefing tomorrow at the same time. Thank you for joining us, and do please stay safe. Thank you. Bye-bye.